Look at how Darren Richardson has his opponent, Amazing Red, at his mercy right now.
In the ring, though. You got to take it into the ring. This is...
Well, hey, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The new underground
he's real
king
proud.
right
He's real
here.
proud of himself.
Yeah.
Real proud. Yeah, you're real proud of yourself, huh? What are you proud? What are you doing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, take care of Solomonster. Take care of the commissioner right here. Whoa.
You like keep pushing my buttons, don't you? Really? You think you can get away? No consequences. Really? Oh, you're the champion forever. Well, let's see about that. You know what? You want to brawl all over this place? How about we make this no disqualification?
What? That's ridiculous. The champion didn't sign up for a no disqualification match. Abuse of power by Commissioner Solomonster once again. Oh!
Oh, WWE gave me an early Christmas present tonight. We had a taped show that I could fast forward through. I love it. I love it. Between all of the entrances and all of the ads, that's half the show gone right there. It's perfect. Austin Theory was the masked man. We saw him at the end of the show last week. And so the question coming into this show here tonight was, is he officially a member of the Vision, or is he sort of a vigilante? Like Sting, but without the makeup and not as cool. And he ended up being a part of Team Vision in the main event tonight effectively auditioning for a role in the group, and he won the match for his team. It was Austin Theory and Bronson Reed taking on CM Punk and Rey Mysterio, and he picked up a win. So we still don't know if he is officially a member of the Vision or not, but obviously he is ingratiating himself very well to Paul Heyman in this group. Yes. People, I think, are coming around to the idea that Raw is actually, when you get rid of the bloat, there's really not a whole lot to this show. It really is not. Gunther, again, not making any friends tonight. He came out and basically did the same thing he did last week. The only difference is they censored him this time. Apparently, Netflix doesn't like the word bitch. But beyond that, he didn't do a whole hell of a lot different than what we saw him do last week. We had some drama between the women of the Judgment Day. There really isn't a whole lot else to speak of when it comes to the show. This was not much of a show. This was a taped holiday episode of Raw. Everything is building towards January 5th. That is when we are getting the CM Punk Braun Breaker match for the World Heavyweight Championship. And until then, I don't expect a whole hell of a lot to be happening on these shows. I got this episode of Raw tonight done in 75 minutes. So it's a beautiful thing, I must say. Of course, it's not so beautiful when you think of what's coming, not this Friday, but next Friday. It's like a slow-moving iceberg, and there's nothing you can do. But we're not there yet. This is your Raw on Netflix review. It is December 22nd, 2025. I am the Solomonster. Let it snow, let it snow. Yes, Christmas is coming up this week. Brian, I feel you, Brian. Brian's like, man, Raw was so boring. Raw was so boring. I'm still dealing with a sore throat, by the way. So it's gonna take a miracle for me now to choke to death here during this stream. So I have no issue with a quicker edition of Raw, believe me. But thank you for all the great feedback to the sound off this weekend. Now I'm trying to think, like the last time I did the flagship sound off, the main Sunday sound off, where it went almost 3 hours. Like I haven't done a show that long in a very long time. So we covered a lot of ground, including the year in review and the award stuff. So if you missed any of it, that is up for you when you're done here to go back and listen to either tonight or tomorrow. A lot of good stuff in there. But thank you for all of the positive feedback to that. Like and subscribe. Super chats are open. We got a bunch of them that came in earlier, so I will be reading your messages. We'll have plenty of time for that. I don't know that we're going to be hitting the goal for Be the Booker tonight. It just might be one of those nights, but we'll see. We'll see. Again, 400 likes is the minimum, and we'll see if we get there. There's a brand new super chat that I posted as well. It's a new $35 one. It's in the description down below, just FYI. So with all that housekeeping out of the way, let us get into this show here. Thank you, Alvin. Alvin says he liked my video ranking John Cena's best matches. Yeah, that went up last week. Those are what I believe to be the 15 best matches of John Cena's career. So it's been a while since I did countdowns. And so you got one last week and you're going to get one next week because I'm doing my top 10 or 15 matches of 2025. That'll be on the Sound Off next Sunday. So you're getting like countdown mania here at the end of the year. The show was taped on Friday. The show that aired tonight here on Netflix. It was taped on Friday. So the announcers were Michael Cole and Corey Graves. There was no Joe Tessitore and there was no Wade Barrett. In the back, as the Vision entered, Paul Heyman told the Bronze, you guys go ahead. Because he saw that standing off to the side was Austin Theory, who we saw at the very end of the show last week. Heyman asked him, what the hell are you doing? Theory said that he wore the mask because he wanted everyone to feel his actions before they saw his face. Said he's made some mistakes in the past. He got comfortable before he got injured. He appreciated that the Vision did not just wait around. They go and they take what they want. Theory said that was him now. He knew the Vision had a tag team match later on tonight, and so he wanted to take that opportunity to help out. And Heyman, he was skeptical, but he was intrigued. as he walked off. And then it was off to the opening match, which saw Rhea Ripley against Asuka. This was a WrestleMania 37 rematch. How many of you remember that? That was the first Mania coming out of COVID. In the back, though, before the match, Rhea was talking to Io Sky, and she asked Io to stay in the back. You stay back here. You're not 100%. She was concerned because Io was nursing her back. If you remember last week, she took the bullet for Rhea. Remember when she just laid on top of her and she took an insane elbow right to the spine? So she told Io, stay in the back. Late in this match, Rhea was motioning for a razor's edge, and Asuka rolled out. She got a 2 count. Asuka got caught by Rhea, though, and they were jostling around on the apron until Asuka hit a German suplex on the apron. She went up top, and she ended up jumping right into a Rhea super kick right to the face. So Rhea kneed her out of the ring and then hit a cannonball off the apron. Rhea goes up top, and Kairi Sane, who is out there in Asuka's corner, of course, they are the women's tag team champions. She goes up top, or up on the apron, rather, and she crotches Rhea, who was on top. She trips her up off the ropes. So that brings out Io Sky. She can't help herself, even though Rhea said, stay in the back. She comes limping out. She's holding her back as she makes her way down to the ring. So Io takes out Kairi. But then Kairi comes back and takes out Io's leg as Io was standing on the apron. And so when Io gets tripped, or, on the apron, she lands on her back. Right? See, this is why Rhea told her, stay in the back. Do not come out here. You're a liability. You're hurt. You're not 100%. Neither am I. But see, I'm working anyway. I'm doing this stream. People don't listen. This is the message here. People don't look after their health enough. They're too concerned about what everybody else thinks or what's going on with everybody else. They got to look out for themselves a little bit more. They got to take care of themselves. I got to take my own advice. Rhea goes over to check on Kairi to see how she is, and this distraction allows Asuka to sneak up behind her and roll her up for the win. So Asuka picks up the win here over Rhea Ripley. Solid stuff from these two here before the nonsense here at the finish. I mean, look, it's about time the champions actually won a fucking match. They won those tag team titles over a month ago. I don't think they've won a single match since, either as a team or individually, until tonight. I know Kairi's taken a whole bunch of losses. And actually, the champions, they got beat straight up, I think, by Lash Legend and Nia Jax on Friday. So this was an overdue win here for the women's tag team champions. As far as Rhea and Io, somebody in the chat asked, is this the start of some kind of split between them? No, I don't think so. I don't believe that to be the case. Backstage, the Bronze were skeptical about Austin Theory being a part of this thing. Paul Heyman said that he had a vision for Theory. So tonight it would be Theory and Bronson Reed taking on Rey Mysterio and CM Punk. And either Austin Theory carries out their vision, or the two of them make sure they carry Theory's ass out of WWE. Becky Lynch was back. She's been boycotting this show. There are weeks where I wish I could boycott this show. But Becky comes out. She's been boycotting this show ever since she, in her mind, got screwed out of the Intercontinental Championship by Maxine Dupree. She said Maxine is not the legitimate champion. She is the real Intercontinental Champion. She knows the fans are upset about all of this corruption. And if Petty Pierce won't do anything about it, she knows some very powerful people who will. Hey, Alvin, thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate that. She went to her good friends at Netflix. She says the big wigs, the biggest of wigs. And they told her, you need to go to miserable Michigan. That's where they were tonight. So, of course, the crowd booed, and she said, they told me I need to go to Grand Rapids, which, by the way, I haven't seen a single rapid. Very misleading name. You have to go there and take matters into your own hands, and that's what she's going to do. So Maxine's music interrupted, and she had a microphone, and she made her way out to the ring. And she says, I will admit, Sports Illustrated was right. Becky is the greatest of all time. and she is but just a rookie, she says. But let's not forget that this rookie beat the greatest of a rookie. I mean, by the way, she's been on television for like 2 or 3 years now. At what point do you stop being a rookie? I mean, she makes it sound like she just debuted, 6 months ago. Yeah, Maze, it's called a job, brother. Why don't you just stop doing your job and see how that goes for you? Okay? Why do people ask stupid questions? Don't make stupid comments. So anyway, she says, look, the rookie beat the greatest of all time, she says. But she says, I didn't just beat you. I beat you 3 times. She knows Becky wants a shot at her title again, and she can have it anytime, any place, but she will stop at nothing to beat her again. And then she started screaming. She was getting all fired up here, was Maxine. As she said that she is not only their Intercontinental Champion, but she also is Becky's champion. And she just wants to hear Becky admit that. She said in that moment when she beat her, Becky didn't look like the greatest of all time. She looked like someone whose best days are behind her. And see, that was the trigger comment there that got under Becky's skin. So Becky sucker punched her to the mat. She started pounding away on her. She posed with her title. And then she started to beat on her again until Maxine picked the ankle. And she got an ankle lock applied. And eventually Becky had no choice. She was struggling. She was fighting and fighting and fighting. And eventually she had no choice. She wasn't anywhere near the ropes. And she tapped out. So look, this was a rare in-ring, I was going to say rare in-ring live promo. I mean, it was live when she cut it in front of a live audience. Obviously the show wasn't live. But it's rare that we see Maxine in the ring with a microphone in her hand, right? She hasn't had too many opportunities like that. I thought she did well here. This is not a situation that she is used to, but it's the sort of thing where if they're going to build her up, if she's going to be a champion, this is the sort of thing that she should be doing more of. And so I thought she actually did pretty well. And she showed some good fire and she showed some good confidence on the microphone here. So this is how you learn. This is how you build someone up, right, to a level where they have not been before. And by working with Becky, I think, again, it certainly has benefited Maxine. Long term, what her ceiling is, I don't know. I don't know. I cannot sit here and tell you that Maxine's going to be world champion one day. She could be. She could be. But compare where she is now to where she was a year ago, right? She's in a much better place now. And she's working with the right people. If she wants to improve and get better and get television time, she'll get that working with Becky Lynch. So for her, I thought it was a good showing here. Now backstage, Stephanie Vicaire confronted the bald fraud, Petty Pierce. Says that she wants Nikki Bella and Raquel Rodriguez in a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. And Pierce liked the sound of that idea, so he made the match official for Raw next Monday. I believe they are live again next Monday. I don't believe next week is a tape show. I believe it is live next week. We had Javon Evans. Javon Evans has been everywhere these past few months. Javon Evans has been in NXT. He's even wrestled for the NXT Championship before he got screwed out of the title by Ricky Saints. We saw him, we saw him at least once, right? If not multiple times in TNA. We have seen him on SmackDown. We have seen him on Raw. Just this past Saturday, he was on the AAA show. So Javon is everywhere. He took on Rayo Americano with Bravo Americano and El Grande Americano in his corner. Rayo, for those who don't know, is Pete Dunne. And if it was Pete Dunne without the silly gimmick against Javon Evans, they would go out there and they would kill it. But it is not Pete Dunne out there. It is Rayo Americano. And so, of course, you're not going to get exactly a Pete Dunne match. This was nothing outstanding. They still went out there and had a good match. I'm not saying it was, a terrible match. It was just comedy. It was good. It was good. But I know these two could have more than just a good match. Javon has an energy to him that it just makes him very likable. It makes him fun to watch. It makes him very likable. I think that will be a good thing for him. It's a good character trait to have. It will help carry him far. once he does make his way up to the main roster. Things were going well enough for him that El Grande Kaiser got spooked, so he jumped up on the apron to distract the referee. So then Javon goes over to the ropes on the other side. He grabs Rayo, and he's attempting some kind of move where he's like, he jumps on the top rope with his legs, but Bravo is there. So now Bravo and Rayo, they have him and they crotch him on the top rope. So moving forward after this, they show that Rayo puts him down with a Michinoku driver, but he kicks out. So coming out of that, Evans tried a springboard move. He had his back turned as he was springing off the ropes, and he got blasted right in the back of the head with a forearm shot on the way down. Rayo then went up top for a moonsault, but he landed on his feet, and he rolled through. But as soon as he got up, he ate an OG cutter because Javon is very quick. So he was already on the ropes, springing off, and he caught him with the cutter on the way down, and he got the win. And after the match, Grande and Bravo, or Rayo, I don't fucking know. They tried to go after him, and he evaded them, he escaped them, and he escaped out to the floor, and that was that. Now, Michael Cole made an interesting comment here. He referred to Javon as a free agent, and he was asking the question, which brand is he going to end up on? So I guess apparently his NXT contract expired, and so now he's a free agent, which means that he's being called up to the main roster because, I mean, unless Shawn Michaels is going to do what Steve Cohen apparently with the Mets is not willing to do with certain people, and he's willing to bust open the checkbook to re-sign Javon to an NXT contract to keep him down there for a little while longer, which I suppose he could. The indication here is that he is going to be a Raw star or a SmackDown star going into the new year, which I don't have an issue with. Now, I have said that if it were me, I would build him up for the NXT championship. I'm not saying he needs a year with it. He doesn't have to have an Obafemi run, but I just feel like he should win the NXT championship. I think after what happened where Ricky Saints cost him the title against Oba, you could build to that, whether it's stand and deliver, if you want to do it a little bit earlier than stand and deliver. Maybe you put the title on him and just give him a little more time in NXT and let him make appearances here and there on the main roster. But you know what? If they want to call him up to the main roster now, I don't have an issue with it. He would be a fun, young addition to that roster, whether it's Mondays or Fridays. I don't even really have a preference one way or the other, right? SmackDown has certain needs, especially on the women's side, but honestly, Raw could use him, SmackDown could use him, it doesn't matter. Javon, I think, would be a welcome addition on any of these shows. Now, they aired a pre-tape video promo from Braun Breaker, plugging his World Heavyweight Championship match, which is coming up with CM Punk on the January 5th episode of Raw. He, at the very end of this, he mocked Punk, saying, I'm only here to make money. Actually, the quote was, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. He says, well, he hopes Punk has saved all of his money and cashed all of his checks because after the match is over and he's the new champion, Punk won't be worth $1 to anyone. This was not as good as the in-ring promos we've gotten from Breaker in recent weeks, but we're kind of at a point now where we got a couple weeks left. There's not a whole lot left. I can't even speak. There's not a whole lot left to do here. Usually they don't do contract signings, do they? For like a television title match. They do those for the PLE title matches. So, I mean, you could do a contract signing, I guess, next week, but what else is left to do other than do the match? So we'll get these types of video promos between now and January 5th. Now, they were showing Michael Cole and Corey Graves on camera. Or Cole anyway, was speaking at ringside when they were interrupted by Nikki Bella. She did not get an entrance. They did not play her music. She just sort of appeared out of the crowd, and she had a microphone in her hand, and she stood on top of the announce desk, and she said that she is a legend. She is a Hall of Famer. She's also a former champion. This is what a champion looks like. But how would these people know what champions look like? They root for the Lions. Boo. Right? Everybody boos. And the Lions wish they were as good as the Philadelphia Eagles. Boo. Or better yet, she says, Ohio State. Let's run through every sports trope that we can think of here. Let's just do that to get heat here in this segment. She said last week she destroyed Raquel's face. That was when she threw her into the ring steps. Next week she will destroy Stephanie's reign. And she gets it. Stephanie is a good, she's very good in the ring. She's a good deal, right? A big deal in the ring. But Nikki, she says, I'm a big deal everywhere. Because she's a celebrity, you see. And it's about time that the women's world title is around the waist of a true global superstar. And with that, she dropped the mic and she left. Thank you, Nikki. I would actually not be surprised if they put the championship on Nikki Bella. She's getting heat when she comes out now. And it's a triple threat match. So Stephanie doesn't even have to lose the title. And I'm about to get into some of the drama within the Judgment Day, right? Raquel arguably cost Roxanne Perez a win tonight. So it may, the shoe may be on the other foot next week where they cost Raquel, right? Maybe accidentally on purpose. But it could be Nikki Bella with an assist from the other members of the Judgment Day getting a win in that match and taking the women's championship. I'm telling you. If I had to make a prediction right now about how that match is going to go next week, I think Nikki Bella is going to win the fucking title. That's what I think. Now, after this, we have Bayley with Lyra Valkyria in her corner against Roxanne Perez, who came out with Liv Morgan. Raquel showed up at ringside midway through the match, right? The match was going on. It was okay. With nothing much to speak of here. But like midway through, Raquel shows up at ringside. And when she tried to get involved, Lyra went over to attack her. But then Liv came over and Liv tossed Lyra over the announce desk. And she took this big bump. She rolled off the announce desk and she landed on the floor. In the ring, Roxanne got sent into the turnbuckles with a sunset. Liv Morgan reached in and she tripped up Bayley when Bayley went to go hit the ropes. Then Liv distracted the referee while Roxanne removed one of the middle turnbuckles. And Bayley ended up going into it face first. So Roxanne covered her, but now Raquel was on the other side of the ring on the apron, yelling at the referee and, inadvertently, I guess, distracting the referee. Liv Morgan sees this. She goes and she yanks Raquel down to the ground outside, and she's like, what the hell? What are you doing? So now Liv and Raquel are going at it back and forth. They're yelling at each other. Roxanne comes over. She's yelling, what are you doing? Right? This is in the middle of her match here. And as this Judgment Day drama unfolded, this gave Lyra Valkyria an opportunity to get back up on the announce desk. She dove off the desk and she took down Liv and Raquel. In the ring, Bayley hit a belly-to-back suplex. Lyra then, she is talking to Bayley, right? She's like reaching in and cheerleading for her, right? But she's trying to hype her up. She smacks her right across the face. And when she does that, she wakes up Psycho Bayley. And now Bayley is just on a rampage and she's attacking Roxanne. She climbs up top. She hits the diving elbow drop and she covers Roxanne and she gets the win. So everything was going fine here for Roxanne until Raquel came out. Now stop me if you've heard this before. I know you're not going to believe this when I tell you. But there's drama in the Judgment Day. I know. Who's ever heard of such a thing? This whole fucking group has been nothing but drama for 3 years now. Now we have more drama in the Judgment Day. A thought occurred to me here. The Judgment Day basically at this point is a women's faction. The Judgment Day is basically a women's faction at this point, right? Liv Morgan kind of feels like the de facto leader, even though they don't really have a leader. But you got Liv Morgan, you got Raquel Rodriguez, and you've got Roxanne Perez. And this is where all of the drama now is centered, right? At least for the time being. Dominic, for those who don't know, Dominic Mysterio, I watched the main event of that AAA show on Saturday night. He very clearly injured his shoulder. I don't know what the injury was. I don't know if he dislocated something. I don't know if he tore. I don't know. Hopefully it is nothing too serious. But it's very clear he was not selling. He got hurt on a DDT that he took from Rey Mysterio, from his dad. And so we have to wait and see what the diagnosis is going to be. At the very least, he may not be able to wrestle for a matter of weeks, If it's something more serious than that, hopefully he doesn't need surgery. We just had Liv Morgan out with surgery. She was gone with her shoulder for months. So Dom is hurt. JD McDonough just had some surgery for some minor stuff. So he's out. That leaves Finn, right? Carlito's been gone for a while. Finn Balor's the only one left. This is a women's faction now, basically. All this drama in the Judgment Day, my God. Now, they did have a backstage segment later on with all the members minus JD, who again wasn't there. Dom was there, but again, remember, this is a tape show, so there was no evidence of any injury here. But they were yelling at each other, and Raquel said that she was just trying to help, something that they should have done when Nikki interrupted her match last week. Liv said that we were just doing what you told them to do, right? What you told us to do, because Raquel told them not to get involved. But then Liv said, look, we're a family. Raquel said that she doesn't need this. I have a championship match that I need to prepare for. So good luck. And off she went. In the back, Austin Theory wanted to know from Bronson Reed, what's the plan? And Reed told him, look, you're in the big leagues now, kid. Just follow my lead. And Theory said, I'm no kid. I'm going to start the match, and then you can follow my lead. I love this idea that Austin Theory is he's some kid from NXT. Right? Dude's been on the main roster for like 4 years. Has a WrestleMania win over John Cena. Being treated like a rookie here, who just made his debut on TV. I love it. Gunther was out next. The man who retired John Cena. Actually, John Cena technically retired himself by announcing a year and a half in advance that he would be wrestling his last match this month. But Gunther will get to now go around for the rest of his life, being able to claim that I am the man who retired John Cena. And of course, he was laughing as he was last week. He was booed as he was last week. He posed again on the turnbuckles. The crowd told him that he sucked. Eventually, he left the ring. He stood on top of the announce desk. And this is all stuff he did last week on the show. So eventually, he hops down. He gets back in the ring. He says the fans really shouldn't be mad at him. They should be mad at the guy who tapped out like a little bitch. And they actually censored the word bitch. I was taking notes on what he was saying as he was saying it, and then I didn't hear the word. And I said, surely they didn't censor the word. I mean, he said it multiple times last week on the show, no problem. Right? Multiple people on most weeks will say the word bitch. So I rewound it, and sure enough, they fucking censored the word bitch. I would love to know how this works. I really would. Is it a case where on Netflix, when it airs live, they don't censor it? But if you go into the archives and you watch it back, they edit that word out? Or is this a new thing? I'm fascinated by this. I'm fascinated by what the rules are here, especially now that they're on Netflix, right? You don't have to worry about the FCC or anything like that. But I'm just fascinated how we could hear it last week, but we couldn't hear it this week. I don't know. Apparently it's a bad word. Bad word. You can't say bitch. CM Punk's music interrupted. Out to the ring walked the World Heavyweight Champion. He was walking with a purpose. And he stormed right into the ring. He walked right up to Gunther and they went nose to nose. And after a few seconds, Gunther just left. But not before. He was on the steps. He turns back to Punk and he does the "you can't see me." And then he laughs and then he goes to leave. He made it maybe halfway down the aisle. Rey Mysterio's music hits. Because again, they're coming out for the main event. They're teaming up. So Rey meets Gunther in the aisleway and confronts him, and Gunther just laughs in his face, and he goes to the back. Mysterio, though, was out to the ring with Punk to join for the main event against Austin Theory and Bronson Reed. But first, they go to a commercial break. They come back from commercial, and it's to the back again. Gunther's walking, and who does he bump into? For the second week in a row, he bumps into AJ Styles. And Styles tells him, "You just don't know when to shut up, do you?" And Gunther says, "Guess I don't." And he laughs and he walks off. So they're really leaning into this idea of AJ Styles against Gunther. I see that as a WrestleMania match. And they're leaning into it so much now that, I mean, it's not even January yet, right? WrestleMania is in April. So I don't know. I don't know if this is just a couple of early teases for a Mania match, or if they're not waiting until Mania to do this. You know, maybe it's a Saturday night's main event match because there's a Saturday night's main event the week before the Royal Rumble. Maybe it's a Royal Rumble match. I don't know. I don't know. But we are clearly going to get Gunther and AJ, which I think is great. If AJ really is retiring next year, I thought Gunther would make for an appropriate final opponent for him. But I don't know. I guess it all comes down to the timing of it. You know, they're really the second week in a row now that they're leaning into this. It would be weird if they just sort of then got away from it and didn't circle back around to it until Rumble time or until Mania time. So we'll see. So we had our main event. Yes, we are already up to our main event. Theory, in case you're interested, and I'm sure many of you are not, but for those of you who are, Theory is now wearing black and gray cargo pants in the ring. He's got the shaved head, of course. He started out with Rey Mysterio. Then it was Reed and Punk, and Reed was dominating. They were working well together so far. Reed and Theory were working well together. Punk got a hot tag to Rey Mysterio, and he went to work on Reed until Theory got a tag and immediately got taken down by a Hurricane Rana. Seated senton off the apron by Rey. When they came back from break, Theory had control over Rey for a few minutes. Eventually, he got a hot tag back to Punk. Leg lariat to Austin Theory, and then a swinging neck breaker by the champion. Running knee in the corner into the running bulldog. Say it, Cole. Say it, Cole. Vintage Punk. Now it's time to go to sleep. But Theory elbows his way out. He makes a tag to Reed, but he can't knock the big guy down. One clothesline doesn't go down. Two clotheslines doesn't go down. Three clotheslines doesn't go down. Punk heads up top. He connects on a flying clothesline. Not enough for a 3 count, though. Mysterio got Reed in position for a 619. Did not see Austin Theory make the blind tag. And when Rey came off the ropes, Theory wiped him out with a wicked clothesline. Hell of a collision, actually, on that clothesline. So Theory went for a powerbomb. Rey, though, sent him into the ropes in position for a 619. And this time he connected. Then the drop of the dime, and it looked like Rey had this one put away, but Bronson Reed reaches in, and he yanks Rey Mysterio out of the ring to the floor before the 3 count. Punk then hits a suicide dive out onto Reed. He tackles him then over the timekeeper's barricade. They both tumble over. So back at ringside, Rey is slowly stirring outside, and he gets back up on the apron. He and Theory are the legal men. Rey gets him down. He heads up top. Theory, though, hits the ropes, which causes Rey to slip. He gets crotched, and down to the mat he goes. And then Theory hits the stomp, and he covers Rey, and he gets the pin to win the match for the Vision. Braun Breaker runs out to attack Punk, who by this point was back in the ring. He almost made it in time to make the save, but he was just a little bit late. So Theory got the win. But now Breaker comes down. He goes after Punk. Punk, though, is fighting everybody off, and he clotheslines Theory out of the ring. But when he turns around, guess who's waiting for him? Braun Breaker. And he cuts down CM Punk with a spear. And as Michael Cole said, if he hits that in 2 weeks, we're going to have a new World Heavyweight Champion. There you go. Theory notches his first win back. That's his first win in what? I don't know. I don't even know. Maybe over a year. I couldn't even tell you the last time I saw Austin Theory win a match. It has been many, many months at the very least. He had to win tonight. The story was that he was effectively auditioning for a spot in the Vision. So he had to win. He had to look strong in some way. So they gave him the win here. Here's what I fear, though. I fear that more than anything, they are adding him to the Vision so that the Vision has someone who going forward, whether it's singles or tags, can lose, can eat pins, because they want to protect Bronson Reed and they want to protect Braun Breaker as much as possible. So whenever the Vision is out there, somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. Well, you throw somebody like Austin Theory in the group, and guess what? Oh, we can just have Theory lose. Right? He won tonight. But will that be the case going forward? I'm very skeptical of that. Guarantee you that was one of the main reasons they added him to this group. But we'll see. I mean, Theory is starting out 2026 in a good spot. Now he just needs creative on his side, right? In a way that they weren't on his side before. And if they can do that, then I think he can do well. This was not much of a show. This was why I was able to zip through the show in an hour and 15 minutes, because it's basically a nothing show. It really is. It's just a fucking nothing show. I could get used to the length. I would love to have a great hour and 15-minute show. Or an hour and 30-minute show. That'd be fantastic. If there were actually real interesting things going on, that would be great. But unfortunately, we got SmackDown going back to 3 hours. Not this week, but next week. So that makes Solomonster a sad panda. What can I say? That was Monday Night Raw. That was Monday Night Raw. Get out of here, you evil pop-up. It's like, oh, man. See? Short, to the point, very succinct. I like it. All right, let's get into your super chats. Yes, I know. Lucky Dog says, I need a drink for 3 hours of SmackDown. We'll all drink together. We'll all drink together. We'll have some fun with it. Yeah, I would like to see Theory succeed as well. Look, the thing about Theory is, and you saw it out there, right? He's not bad. I mean, Theory, like in ring, Theory is very competent. He's a good wrestler. And I think he could certainly do better than what they had him doing previously. Question is, how serious are they in getting behind him? Like, they're going to put him in the Vision. Vision is the top heel faction on Raw. But what exactly is his role in the Vision going to be, right? That's the question. And when it comes to that World Championship match on January 5th, I said this last week, just because they revealed Theory as the masked man does not mean there can't be another masked man. But that all depends on whether or not they're actually going to do a world title change on that show. I still feel like if, we're going to get 2 world title matches at the beginning of the year, which we are. We're getting one January 5th and we're going to get one on January 9th in Germany. That if only one championship had to change hands, it should be the WWE Championship. Because Drew McIntyre can ill afford another loss. Braun Breaker, if he doesn't win the championship on January 5th, depending on how they do the finish, he could come back and win the Royal Rumble and get another shot at WrestleMania. Like, he's going to be fine. Drew McIntyre's already lost 2 or 3 times. So if anybody could use a win in these championship matches, it's Drew McIntyre. Hey, Joseph Stewart, I wish you a happy Monday as well, my friend. I wish you a happy Monday, and I wish you a very Merry Christmas if you are celebrating this week. Let's barrel through all of Joseph's questions here. He wants to know, I remember on SNL when Macaulay Culkin pulled Chris Farley into a table. They were acting out the pizza scene from Home Alone on SNL. I don't remember that, but of course I do remember the, oh God, was it Matt Foley? Right, the van down by the river when he went through he took the table bump in that segment. That I remember. Buy or sell, Joker and Harley or Mickey and Mallory? Joker and Harley. Did you know Rodney Dangerfield was in Natural Born Killers as Mallory's dad? I did. Did you know that in... God, what scene would it have been? There's a scene where Rodney Dangerfield is in his lazy boy watching television. He's watching WWF Superstars. There's a Tatanka match on in that scene. See, that you may not have known. That I remember. I remember when I watched that movie for the first time, I go, oh, look, he's watching wrestling. Now, why I was watching that movie at that age, I'd have to ask my father that question, and he's not around anymore, so I can't get that answer. Buy or sell, Joker and Harley or Bonnie and Clyde? Joker and Harley. Do I remember the movie Surf Ninjas? I do not. Or The Page Master? Nope. I know The Good Son. Do you remember the Disney movie The Emperor's New Groove? Nope. The Pinocchio. I know about the Jonathan Taylor Thomas Pinocchio from '96. Didn't see it, but I'm aware of it. Luke and Laura from General Hospital. Do I remember? Yes, I do. Do I remember Susan Lucci from All My Children? She played Erica Kane. I remember when she finally won the Emmy. They made a big deal about it. Like 19 seasons, she finally wins a fucking Emmy. Did I watch some soap operas, and if so, which ones do you watch? I did not, and I do not watch. The only soap opera I watch is professional wrestling. That's about it. Happy anniversary to the Tom Hanks movie Castaway. It was released on this day back in 2000. Wow. 25 years ago. Crazy. Remember Wilson? Wilson, the volleyball? On Christmas Day, it's the anniversary of Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Jack Nicholson was at the recent Lakers game. Jack Nicholson is at every Lakers game. That's not news. Should make him a member of the team at this point. I think his son was actually in, that movie Smile. I think they came out with a second one. And I think he's in that movie. I didn't see the movie, but I saw a scene with him in it. And in that scene that I saw where he's smiling, God, he's a dead ringer for his father in The Shining. Dead ringer for his father in The Shining. Is it true Chris Jericho was supposed to be in the main event of WrestleMania 16? Well, I know it is WrestleMania 2000. And yes, there were discussions about it. There was actually a poster that was made with him in it, but plans change, and it didn't work out that way. How different would WrestleMania 9 be if Bret Hart against Macho Man was the main event? Well, it would have been a better main event, and Bret would not have lost his championship that night. That's what the WrestleMania main event should have been that year. Do you think Diesel versus Shawn should have been the main event for WrestleMania 11? Yes. Were you a fan of Toka and Razor from Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze? I love that movie. I'm more of a Super Shredder guy. But yes, I love that movie. I used to have one of those little small flip books with images from a particular scene in the movie, and you just kind of flip the pages and it like animates. Buy or sell, Bebop and Rocksteady or Toka and Razor? Bebop and Rocksteady. Did you know Macaulay Culkin was almost in Home Alone 3 as teenager Kevin? Did not know that. Have you seen the movie Wild Things with Neve Campbell, Matt Dillon, and Denise Richards? Yeah, it's actually got a great soundtrack too. I love the music in that movie. Do you remember the Men in Black song by Will Smith? Of course. Favorite Rick James song? Super Freak. Have you seen the movie Santa Claus Conquers the Martians? I've never heard of such a thing, so no, I've not seen it. Do you think Harley Cameron is going to be a big star in AEW? I would say she's already a star in AEW. And I think one day she'll be a big star in WWE. Dried ribs and chicken with flavor. Says that he wants to give a chance to say thank you to John Cena for a wonderful WWE career. And if John Cena were here right now, I am sure he would give you some kind of word salad response thanking you. He'd be like, no, it's not thank me, it's thank you. Thank you, because without you guys being there in the buildings every week and painting the portrait of what it is like to be a WWE superstar and an entertainer doing what we do on the palette. You know, we paint a picture with our palette, and then how the fans take it, of course, it's up to the individual fan. But, you know, that's what makes what we do so great, right? It's just this just blank canvas that we're able to draw on, and the fans, they either like the painting or they don't like the painting, but as long as they're reacting in some way, you know, that's all that matters. And anyway, thank you very much, and let's have a drink right now. That was the interview with him and Cody Rhodes the other day. And then just throw a plug in there for Wheatley vodka. Where was I? He says, I'm going to say this. Andrade should completely dye his entire hair golden blonde in 2026. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should dye my hair golden blonde in 2026. What do you think about that? Hey, Zizu, channel member for 43 months. Wishing you a Merry Christmas, Solo. Merry Christmas, Zizu. And shout out to Anobi. Just joining us. Joseph says, do I think, I missed this one. Do I think Megan Bain is going to be a big star in AEW? Yes. Megan Bain is going to be a big star wherever she ends up. Whether she stays with AEW or she goes somewhere else. Yes, I know, I'm already blonde, but I'm talking like platinum blonde. I'm talking like blonde highlights in the blonde. How would that look? WWE and Stranger Things collaboration is actually going to happen. Also, will you have a Stranger Things graphic on your stream during New Year's? I'm not sure what that is in reference to, but no, I'm not planning on that at all. With the year coming to a close, my random not on my bingo card moment, says Groovy Goose, of 2025 was Macaulay Culkin getting a pop with Across the Nation playing. Well, you could say Macaulay Culkin getting a bigger pop than Hulk Hogan did when he came out on Raw. Dried ribs and chicken. You know what I miss in WWE? Guilty pleasure of mine. A standard WWE food fight on TV. Yeah, we had Thanksgiving come and go, and there was no food fight. I think the last food fight we got was the one where Kevin Owens ended up under the table. Got hit with a pie. Did we ever find out who hit him with that pie? Robbie and Friends. Do you consider Rocky IV to be a Christmas movie? Rocky fought Drago on Christmas Day in 1985. Nope, not a Christmas movie. Not a Christmas movie. That's a no from me. JDFVA. Touch the Solomonster, you get screwed. That's right. Darren Richardson found that out at the House of Glory show the other day. What does Cartman say on South Park? Respect my authority. Mess with the commissioner, you'll be put on the naughty list. Yes. When Seth Rollins returns to WWE, his new favorite song will be Bye 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 by NSYNC. He's got to take out the Vision Deadpool style. Anis says, what the hell is up with Triple Lame and Men in Black hoodies? Does Triple H wear Men in Black hoodies? I don't pay attention to his wardrobe. Power Spying Games, rest in peace, Chris Rhea of Driving Home for Christmas fame. I don't know who that is, but yes, rest in peace. Italian Stallion with a 15 Australian. Kurt Angle is one of my personal favorite wrestlers of all time. What are your thoughts on the career of the Olympic hero? He's just so purely good, man. Oh, it's true. Kurt's one of the GOATs. The only thing with Kurt is like his run in WWE wasn't that long. It still blows my mind when I think that his run in TNA actually bested time-wise the run that he had in WWE. Actually, a lot of people would say his run just overall was better in TNA than it was in WWE. And I don't know that they would be wrong about that. He had a lot of great matches and moments in TNA, and was actually very instrumental, I think, in that company having the success that it had, you know, when he came in when he did in 2006. But Kurt could do it all, man. He could be a babyface. He could be a heel. He could be a comedy goofball, legitimately laugh out loud funny, but then be like a serious killer wrestling machine. And on top of that, he was just a great fucking wrestler. One of the only people I could think of who made Hulk Hogan as a babyface tap out. I mean, who can say that they did that? Even Brock Lesnar, he beat Hogan with a bear hug, but Hogan didn't tap out. He tapped out to the ankle lock. That's one of the more impressive achievements, honestly, on his resume. Yeah, I did see that, actually. The co-creator, I believe, of Call of Duty. He died in a car accident. I think he was driving his Porsche or his Corvette. I think he hit a concrete median. He got ejected from the car. And I think the story said that he was trapped. Like it burst into flames and he was trapped. So he died on the scene. And then a passenger who was in the car with him died at the hospital. And he was only in his early 50s, mid 50s, I think. So, yeah, I was sorry to hear that. Holiday says, Merry Christmas, Solo. I'm wondering if they're setting up for LA Knight to return and win the Men's Royal Rumble to challenge Braun at WrestleMania. It would at least be a longer term program for a major WrestleMania match. Yeah, but, you know, as a fan of LA Knight's work, I think that would be great. But do you honestly see one of the WrestleMania main events being Braun Breaker against LA Knight? That's a Raw match. It's hard for me to envision that. Becky Lynch should join the New Day and become the sister Sherry of that group. That would be a downgrade. Why would you do that? Why would you downgrade Becky? She's a much bigger star than the New Day. Can't just make her a manager. Ragnarok, what's going on, Ragnarok? Happy holidays, brother. Another tag team main event of the Vision versus insert babyface team here. I'll jump Solo. I promise I will. Buy or sell. Cena dodging every real interview answer or Hogan's Hoganisms. Oh, I got to buy on Hogan's Hoganisms. At least those were entertaining. Cena was more like a Cena interview is just frustrating. Whenever Hogan would come up with like a Hoganism, like a new one to add to the list, it was entertaining. Barry MK, you looked amazing in the cover art for yesterday's Sound Off. Wish I could look like that. Well, you know, I got my pump on. That's my holiday pump. No Christmas cookies this year. I said, man, if I'm going to be in that kind of shape, we gotta make sure we take a cover photo without the shirt on. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Show it to your girlfriends. And they won't be your girlfriend no more. Luis with the $5. Nikki Bella throwing pipe bombs on the microphone. CM Punk called. He wants his pipe. If that's a pipe bomb, Luis, then that term doesn't mean what it used to mean. I think you're overstating it just a bit. Bobby Mean says, Solomonster, I hope to God you're wrong about putting that title on Nikki Bella. Talk about really fucking things up. Speaking of, look, I'm watching her tonight, and I'm watching the drama play out with Raquel and the other members of the Judgment Day, and I'm just telling you, I can't sit here and tell you for sure that it's going to happen. But I'm watching this, and I'm like, I feel like they're going to put that championship on her. And it may just be a case where Stephanie, takes it right back at the Rumble or something. But, Nikki turned heel, and then they beat her. And it was like, all right, well, you turned this woman heel, then you beat her in a nothing match. And so if it's one and done, okay, fine, move on to the next. But no, they're continuing with it. If they're going to continue with it, that tells me that they're continuing with it for a reason. And she does go out there and get heat now. The fans are buying into it. Now, you may call it go-away heat. I'm not saying it isn't go-away heat, but to them, oh, it's heat, right? They're booing. I'm telling you, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if they do a title change next week. Says, I'm sensing a split with Rodriguez and Perez. Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, again, we have Judgment Day drama every week. Who knows how it's going to play out. I think Raquel does, next year, I think Raquel does end up, though, as a singles babyface. Joseph wanted to send you happy holidays, Solo. You saved my sanity from watching WWE. By the way, if you love The Dark Knight, seek out comic The Long Halloween. Okay. All right. I might have to do that. The Long Halloween. Is that Batman? I don't know why that makes me think that's a Batman comic. Dried ribs and chicken. Foolish pride heel syndrome by the Judgment Day. Italian Stallion with a couple of super chats. Hot take. I hate Gunther's new goofy theme. Well, it's his old goofy theme. It's not new. Is there anyone more boring than Damian Priest? I can think of a few people. Do you realize that Damian Priest and Aleister Black have been feuding for like 6 months now? I say it every week. I go, who's benefited from this feud? In these 6 months, who has benefited from this feud? Priest actually feels less over for it. Tommy Nabs, Cena's last match gave me 2008 Mets last game at Shea vibes. A disappointed crowd that had to swallow anger and frustration during the, quote, celebrations. Spoken like a true Mets fan. Furious Nation. What's up, Solo? What's up, Furious Nation? Raw wasn't bad, but felt like a build to January 5th, 2026. Not sure if there's a TNT tomorrow, but I want to wish you and JD both Merry Christmas. Thank you, brother. I think the plan is that there will be, but yeah, my throat is not doing too well. It hurts to swallow. That's never a good sign. So I don't know what's going to be. It's going to depend on how I feel tomorrow. But that is the plan. But we'll see how it goes. It's not like there's a whole ton of news going on to begin with. But thank you, brother. Wish you a very Merry Christmas as well. Toya Ain't Nice says Merry Christmas, Solo. Merry Christmas, Toya. And a Happy New Year. And Furious Nation, in my opinion, my favorite Christmas movies are Home Alone and Home Alone 2. Such great movies. By the way, thoughts on the 2006 film, Night at the Museum. You know, believe it or not, I never watched Night at the Museum. Never had an interest in watching it. I mean, is it worth watching? Is it really that good that I should go back and watch? I just never, I don't know. I was not really interested in going to see it. Home Alone is like the quintessential Christmas movie. People are going to say, you know, Miracle on 34th Street or, you know, whatever those classic Christmas movies are. For me, in no particular order, Die Hard, Home Alone, and Jingle All the Way. Jingle All the Way is I'm sorry, it's a great Christmas movie. I love that movie. Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, Phil Hartman. Great stuff. Let's refresh here and see if I missed anybody. I don't believe I did, but let's see. Oh, we got a few more. Furious Nation. Who could you see jumping ship to WWE in 2026 from AEW? Also, I've seen the TV schedule for USA Network tomorrow with Law and Order SVU all day. If they didn't have Law and Order SVU, this network would have nothing to air except SmackDown on Friday nights. And then it would be like a 5-hour SmackDown because they have nothing else. Who could I see jumping ship to WWE? Depends whose contract is up. I don't know their contract status, so I couldn't tell you. I mean, MJF, I think, is locked in for a couple more years at least. And same for Ospreay and Swerve and really all the key names. I'll say Jericho. Jericho's the obvious one. Jericho, I think, is WWE bound at the beginning of the year. He would be the number one. Paul Carpenter, rest in peace. Peter Green and James Rizzone from The Mask and It Chapter 2, also from The Wire. Men, the struggle, I think he means, is real. Get help if struggling. Yes, that is a good message to convey, especially this time of year. Unfortunately, people get in their head and they get in their thoughts around this time of year. They get very lonely around the holidays. And, you know, you need to convey that message that there is always someone there to talk to. It is much better than the alternative. Sometimes people they get in their own heads and they just become their own worst enemy. All you need to do is reach out and talk to someone. And that can make all the difference in the world.
How would you folks like to see a tag team match, player? I think I'd like to see that too. Ring the bell!
Wow. Look at that guy. I don't know what happened at the beginning there, but it was like on speed. But then it settled out there. How would you like a tag team match, playa? I like that guy's moxie. That guy should be running the show on Mondays. Hell yeah. That's our brand new tag team match, playa. $35 super chat from Dude Here. Dude Here 73. Yes, that is a brand spanking new super chat. Just added. Glitched solo. I don't know. It's something about when I'm on that other screen. If I was on this screen, I don't think it would have happened. But it settled. It settled out okay there at the end. Yeah, I think I overdid it on. I definitely overdid. I did a lot of yelling and screaming at people. People were pissing me off on Friday night, so I was doing a lot of yelling and screaming and, you know, play by play, carrying the whole show there. So didn't do my voice any favors. But now I don't know. I just feel all congested now, and the throat. Something going on here. It's that time of year. I just hope this doesn't turn into something really bad. That's what I'm worried about. Yukio Rules says, Solo, you could totally join the Americanos. So what would I be? I would be Solo Americano? Would that be my name? But Dude Here, thank you for breaking in the new $35 super chat. Just wanted to say Merry Christmas. Yeah, filthy animal. Shout out to one of my favorite holiday movies. And thanks for all the great content this year. Well, Dude Here, thank you for all the support this year. And I'm glad you enjoy the content. And we still have another week left before we're done. And that includes New Year's Eve, by the way. Because unless something comes up, the plan is to be live as we are every year. This is going to be the 6th year in a row that I will be doing the Make It Till Midnight New Year's Eve stream. It just so happens that this year it falls on a Wednesday, which is actually kind of perfect because that way we can at least incorporate, you know, a Dynamite review, even if we kind of go in and out of it. So we'll cover Dynamite, but we will be live on New Year's Eve. And I know you guys usually show up with mega support or even just to hang out, grab a drink, whatever it may be, as we count down to the new year. So that'll be next Wednesday. It's become an annual tradition around here. I like that. Solo Americano. I think that works. And Randy Bobandy. Hey, Solo, just curious if you ever watched the OG HBO show Oz. Highly underrated. I have not. Oz and The Wire were two shows I had never watched. And I finally got around to watching The Wire last year, which was great. I still haven't watched Oz, right? That was the guy in the wheelchair, right? Still haven't watched Oz. I know there were a lot of like OG shows. I mean, The Sopranos, obviously, I watched. The greatest show of all time. But I never watched Oz. I never watched Arliss. This show about the sports agent. I never watched Entourage. There were just, I don't know, there were certain shows that I just never got into. Game of Thrones. Everyone's like, oh, you would love Game of Thrones. I never watched it. I might love it. I hope I get around to it one day. I never watched Game of Thrones. I know it's very violent and there's dragons and shit. I just never watched it. Prison. No, I did not see Prison Break. My brother is a big fan of Prison Break. But no, I did not see Prison Break or Homeland or any of those shows. Westworld, no. Westwood. Oh, not Westwood. Deadwood. Westwood. Deadwood. No, I didn't see Deadwood. Breaking Bad. Look, I go back and forth between The Shield, Breaking Bad, and The Sopranos. You could put them in whatever order you want to. Those are the three greatest shows that I've ever seen. Sopranos, Breaking Bad, The Shield. Better Call Saul is up in that conversation as well. Honestly, for me, the first season of The Last of Us, like the early seasons of The Walking Dead, it's been some great television. See, okay, I'm not the only one who's never seen Game of Thrones. I think we're in like the one percentile of people who haven't seen Game of Thrones. Yeah, The Shield is. I recommend that to anybody that's never seen it. Any chance I get. I have talked about it periodically over the years in the podcast, and I always love getting the inevitable email later on from someone like thanking me. Like, I'm so glad you mentioned it. I didn't even know it existed, and thank you for turning me on to the show. And it's a great show. The only reason I started watching it when it first came on the air in 2002 was because I was a fan of Michael Chiklis. He's just one of those actors that I'm a big fan of. So I watch a lot of stuff that he's in. He even did a pilot. This was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, probably. It's around COVID time. He did a pilot for Paramount Plus for a show called, oh my God, he was a Border Patrol agent on the show. And the name escapes me. Played a character named Ben. And it was only like maybe half a dozen episodes. It didn't get picked up, unfortunately. But I enjoyed it. I'm like, oh, Michael Chiklis is in it. I'll watch it. So I used to watch him on a show called The Commish back in the 90s. So when I saw that he was going to be a cop again, but it was like a very different kind of cop, I was like, oh, I got to watch this. And that show was very groundbreaking at the time for cable, for basic cable, because it aired on FX. And the way it was shot, it was very gritty and just the kind of character he portrayed. I fell in love with the show. I recommend it wholeheartedly to anybody listening who's never seen it before. First time I saw Walton Goggins as well. Now he's everywhere. He's in fucking Walmart commercials. It's the first time I saw him acting in anything. Coyote. Yes, that was the name of the show. Coyote. Yeah. Yeah, the commish was great. Still know the jingle, the song in my head. Teresa Saldana was his wife on the show. Yeah. Hear a lot of great things about Peacemaker with John Cena. The watch list is so long, and yet I never have time. That's what happens when you work all the time. All work and no play. Well, anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me on an abbreviated Raw stream tonight. Too bad it can't be like that every week. I could get used to, Raw's been uploaded. Okay, let's just skip through all the gaga and just watch the important parts. But anyway, I'm going to be live with you. Again, the plan is for there to be a TNT tomorrow night. Whether or not there is will depend on how I feel tomorrow. But here on this channel, there will be a Dynamite stream on Christmas Eve. So if you want to spend your Christmas Eve with me, that's where I'll be. I'll be here. And then Friday night is a taped SmackDown. I will be live for that as well. And that will lead into World's End weekend. I'm still very much undecided about whether or not I am going to go live for this pay-per-view. I am leaning towards doing a review on the Sound Off on Sunday because I just cannot stand these late AEW pay-per-views. I can't stand it. It's very difficult for me because of the timing of the podcast. If I didn't have the Sunday podcast to do, I don't think I would mind as much. But as late as those fucking pay-per-views end, and then I first go live, and then I have a show to do the next day, it's ridiculous. So I don't know what I'm doing on Saturday. I'll keep you guys posted, but you'll definitely get a World's End review at some point, whether it's live or not. And then we're into the final week of 2025. So exciting stuff. And I am still working on this next installment of RSPW Rewind. Since you guys hit that goal a few weeks ago, I haven't forgotten about you. You unlocked the goal, so you'll be getting that as well. And wouldn't you know, we just hit 405 likes, which means we hit the goal. We hit the goal for Be the Booker. Power Spying Games. Have you ever revisited any childhood interests? My childhood interest was wrestling. I'm still a wrestling fan. What's to revisit? Watch wrestling and baseball, and I still do to this day. I'm not sure what other childhood interests there would be that you're referring to. Oh, man. All right, let's go ahead and be the Booker.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to be the Booker.
Here we go. Let's do it. I didn't think we were going to be doing this tonight. But we're getting things kicked off with the Hart Foundation. Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. This is already a winner right here. This is already going to be a winner. I can feel it. We got the Hart Foundation, man. It would take a lot to fuck this up. Doom. Ron Simmons and the Natural Butch Reed. And in the middle is Teddy Long. This would have been during a time period in WCW when, if you've listened to any Teddy Long shoots over the years, Ric Flair was on the booking committee, and Ric Flair, for whatever reason, was not much of a fan of Teddy Long, and he had some very unflattering language that he would use about Teddy Long that I will not repeat. And I believe Teddy when he tells these stories. Doesn't paint Ric Flair in a very flattering light. Let's just say that. Women's Be the Booker. See what we got here. We got angry Beth Phoenix. Look how angry she is. Angry Beth Phoenix. Don't make her mad. Don't make her mad. She will be taking on Naomi. But see, this is still babyface Naomi. This is not the heel Naomi that we got this year that was so great until she was forced to relinquish her championship. But still a good match, nonetheless. And now, our main event. The main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we have the Macho Man. Ooh, yeah. Uh-huh. Randy Savage. See, this right here, this is pro wrestling. In one image, this is pro wrestling. As ridiculous, like if you showed this to any non-wrestling fan, they would look at this and laugh, but still, this is pro wrestling. You talk about goats, that's one of the goats. Macho Man Randy Savage against John Cena. That's one of those kind of cross-generational fantasy matchups that you kind of think about. Like, how would that go? How would a Macho Man John Cena match have been? Like Prime Macho against John Cena from like 10 years ago when he was in his physical prime? Would have been a fantastic match. Book it. Book it, right? The Battle of the Goats. I could see the billing now. Super Bell. I got to get a Super Bell. If I had a Super Bell, that would have been a Super Bell, but it was a clean sweep. Look at that. I didn't even know if we were going to Be the Booker. We ended up getting a clean sweep here. John Cena, not done yet. You thought Gunther was his retirement match, but he's now back. He's back out of retirement, let's see, 9 days later. It only took 9 days to get him back out of retirement to wrestle the Macho Man. That's right. Cocaine and wrestling was good back then. That's what made the wrestling so good. Hey, Caden. What's going on, Caden? Caden Crawford. Celebrating a membership. Says, hope you feel better. Says, Roxy looked great in that gear tonight. Hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. Well, Roxanne looks great pretty much every week. Thank you, Caden. I wish you a very Merry Christmas as well. I'm hoping that I don't wake up and feel worse tomorrow because my head feels like it's about to explode and my throat is on fire. Oh man, Yurion. $5 super chat. Haven't been able to be around for the streams, but wanted to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you, Solo, and the rest here. Same to you, my friend. I hope it is a very merry day for you. You get all the gifts that you're looking for. Hope Santa leaves something good for you under the tree and doesn't leave any Michael Cole in your stocking. It's the last thing you need in your stocking. Can you imagine that? You open up your stocking on Christmas Day and it's just, you just open it up and you just hear like, oh my, it's boss time. I would take that stocking and just, remember Jason in one of the Friday the 13th movies with the famous scene actually with the sleeping bag. He just smashes it against the tree. That's what I would do with that stocking if it started talking to me and saying, it's the big dog, it's boss time. I'd smash that shit against the wall. We don't need none of that. What would you rather have in your stocking? Michael Cole or Adam Cole? There's a question to answer. It's boss time. My God. All right, be well. Stay safe. Have yourselves a great rest of your evening here. Man, not even 11 o'clock and we're out of here. I love it. I will see you back here on Wednesday night, hopefully, live for the Christmas Eve Dynamite stream. Until then, take care, guys.